Hello everybody and welcome back to Sunshine Islands. I have once again come back to an older save of mine so that we can squeeze in a proposal and a wedding into this video. And then after that we will just sort of continue on with where I actually am because I'm way past the 5th day of spring. But I made this save just before the last event here with Pierre and Natalie. It's a perfect day to just lay out in the sun and watch the clouds. Yes, like that cloud, it looks like an apple, and that one looks like a bag of flour. A few more clouds and I could make an apple pie from the sky. Do you always have cooking on your mind, Pierre? Well, it's not always the only thing on my mind. What do you mean? Lately, every time I cook, I think about you, Natalie. Huh? Why? Well, you always seem to enjoy my cooking so much. I keep trying to think of new dishes to please you. So that's all I am to you, huh? Your food taster? Oh well, I guess it's not the worst job in the world, right? What do you mean? Come on, Pierre, don't you ever think of me as anything more than someone to feed? What? Well, of course, you are also fine company for dinner conversation. Company for conversation? That's all you've got? No, you're right. I've got to be brave and tell you how I feel. Natalie, you are the flame that has lit the stove of my heart. You are the spice in my curry, the sugar in my peanut brittle. Okay, I get the point. Thanks for finally saying so. I feel the same way about you, Pierre. Oh man, so cheesy. So unbelievably cheesy. But, I mean, they seem happy. We're gonna be able to watch their wedding. In about a week from now, I've made another save so that we can go ahead and load that up. Out of all the rival couples in this game, they sort of seem to me to be the one pairing that sort of stands out in my mind because most of the other couples, you'll see them hang out together or they have something in common or they can be seen in the same places, things like that, but Pierre and Natalie don't really seem to cross paths all that often in this game, so they're sort of an odd pairing to me, but that's just my personal opinion. Let's go ahead and watch their wedding. Loading my save on the night of the 11th. When we wake up tomorrow morning, we will be able to watch their wedding. For some reason, I thought that their wedding was going to get pushed back a couple of days because I've been having a lot of rain. But it just so happened that it's a nice, beautiful day for them to get married. And the other thing I didn't mention when we watched Elliot and Julia's wedding is that if you were playing as Chelsea, it would be the female characters coming to tell you that they're getting married. Because we've only seen the men so far, which I guess sort of makes sense. And then this is going to be pretty much the same as Elliot and Julia's wedding. Of course, you've got different people here showing up. And probably my favorite thing about the weddings is just seeing their outfits. Do you swear to love and cherish Natalie? I do. Natalie, do you swear to love and cherish Pierre? You bet I do. Thank you everyone for coming today. Yeah, thanks everybody. Pierre's wedding outfit seems a little lazy to me because the outfit is pretty much identical to what he wears on a daily basis. He's just swapped it out for white. It's almost like he's just kept this white suit in his closet and he's just taken it out for his wedding. Natalie looks great though. Her hair looked really, really nice. So there's that. Once those two get married, thankfully, Natalie's house gets a bit of breathing room because she moves in with Pierre, which makes a little bit more sense to me, seeing as how Pierre has this house all to himself and, you know, Natalie lives with her family. So now these two will live here together. Natalie will still go home and visit with her family. And their schedules change a little bit because they do go places together now. I do believe that you can see them go to the diner in the evenings together, and they also go inside a little bit earlier as well, I believe. And then of course their dialogue changes as well, which is nice. And it's kind of nice. Everybody in this game is sort of stuck in that forever honeymoon phase. All happy endings in this game. Although you can lower the affection of your own spouse and they can become very, very unhappy with you, but I don't see why you would want to do that. I even kind of feel a little bit guilty that Witch Princess doesn't have a red heart, honestly. And again, I think the reason for that is because I completely decided just to skip the Harvest Goddess Festival. I can't think of any other reason, but she's not a woman that I would want to have mad at me. I can only imagine. So I definitely want to keep my wife happy. Now that that is said and done, I'm going to load back to where I actually am in the game, which is actually only just one day ahead on the 14th day of spring. And I had it all planned out where I was going to include another proposal in this video because Vaughn is in town today. It's a beautiful sunny Tuesday and we're only able to get his proposal event with the person that he marries on Mondays and Tuesdays when he's on the island. But as it turns out, because it's technically a festival today, it's a festival, it's a holiday, but not really a holiday. But because that's the case, I can't trigger that this week. I tested this out because I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, and I actually did manage to get it to work next week. So that's probably something that we're gonna try and time to happen in between all of our festivals, and I think it'll work out well because we can include the proposal event next week in between our sheep festival and our horse festival, and then the wedding will hopefully take place just before our spring crop festival. So what have I been doing on the farm? I haven't been doing much. There hasn't really been a lot to talk about since the last update. One of the things that I did accomplish, however, after I pick these 2 cucumbers off the vine and I ship them, is I've now managed to ship 100 of each spring crop that you can grow in the game that I've unlocked so far. If I scroll on over to my shipping, you can see that I've just barely now reached the threshold for 100 potatoes, 100 cucumbers, and 100 strawberries. So now that we've done that, Chen will have a new crop for us at his shop. And I will probably just keep what I have going on here. I'm gonna keep the strawberries because we need to have some of those for the crop festival at the end of the month. It won't hurt to have more cucumbers. I don't have very many of them in my fridge for the purposes of cooking. And we've also got some potatoes going on here. I may grow some more turnips just because they are used in a really effective recipe for if I want some stamina recovery. But I honestly don't have to worry too much about my crops because my greenhouse alone is raking in huge amounts of money. If I didn't need to grow crops in order to unlock something new, I probably wouldn't have really bothered. I probably would have just kept on going with the yams. You can see I'm making big bucks and it's honestly very effortless. I'm just getting the money from animal products and crops. I'm just basically doing my routine, what I've always done. Not really doing anything too crazy, and I'm still earning lots and lots of money, which of course at this point is probably just going to be used for the greenhouse. So let's go on over to Chen's, seeing as how I can spend some money at his shop today. Alright Chen, so now that we've shipped 100 of each of our spring crops, if we go into the seed menu, and we scroll all the way down, we will now have the option to grow wheat. And wheat is very cool because it takes a very long time to grow, like rice does, but it's very similar to grass seeds in that if you manage to get fully grown wheat before the winter time, it will actually go dormant in the wintertime and it doesn't wilt, which is really neat. So if you plant wheat late and you're worried that it hasn't grown in by the end of the year, it will also come back in the spring, which is really nice. But because we're only about halfway through spring, if we plant some wheat now, it shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to grow and harvest this. But we will probably be waiting until the fall because the seeds alone take a full 30 days to actually take off. And then after that, you have 4 stages of growth before it's finally mature and ready to go. So I'm actually gonna buy a few of these. I'm gonna buy 8 of them. And I'm going to just put them in the toolbox for now. And the reason I haven't grown any buckwheat yet is because buckwheat will only grow in the summer and the fall, even though it says in the description that you can grow it in the spring. So I'm gonna plant the wheat now because it takes so long and we have pretty much all year to grow it. But I'm gonna try and leave some space on my farm to be able to grow some buckwheat later on. And what's really cool about growing these grains is that we can throw some orange wonderfuls onto our sickle. And when that stuff comes in, we can double or triple the amount of stuff that we're getting from them. And that'll be really helpful because we can then run those either through our thresher or through our flour mill. And we can get some really awesome product. So my plan is to clear out my field a little bit more. I sort of started to do that, but it's a little bit of upkeep to keep things from coming, because it seems like I get branches or weeds or something every single day. So I'll probably spend some time cleaning this up, and I will probably put the wheat over here on the far side. And as long as I don't grow too many, that should leave some room for me to plant some buckwheat when summer rolls around. And then the other thing that we are missing are soybeans. And in order to be able to grow some soybeans, we would have to ship 100 pumpkins. Pumpkins are the last thing on the list here that we haven't shipped 100 of for the summer season. And I'm gonna try my darndest to do that next month. I think I might just grow all pumpkins to really pump up those numbers, but they take so long to grow. So that'll be sort of a nice challenge for us next month. But hopefully by the next time I do an update, I'll sort of have a little bit more development in this area here. I think it'll be great. It'll be nice just to keep all this junk from taking up space on my farm, less maintenance for me, and totally new. We've never grown wheat before, so that'll be pretty exciting. And that was really the only major update that I had going on. Once again, sort of just setting things up like proposals so that we can include those in videos, and doing routine stuff, just sort of going through each day. I'm waiting for the green sprites to come back so we can work more on our greenhouse, but that won't be for some time. I don't think that they left until late in the winter. I don't even remember. It's been a while, but not long enough, because they're going to be gone a whole month, unfortunately. The other thing that I should look at, actually, and I haven't really been keeping track, is we should see how we're making out with our maker machines. We're kind of getting there with yogurt. As you can see, we're actually making some good headway here. And then butter will obviously be the very last thing that we get a sunstone for. So hopefully soon we will have at least one more sunstone as well. And then I can work strictly on the butter maker. And then obviously once we get rice and we get some wheat and we get some buckwheat and all of these different kinds of grains, we can then go back to using our thresher and our flour mill, and we can get the sunstone from the flour mill, because I do believe I've already gotten it from the thresher. And then next week we have festivals. We have 2 festivals next week. We've got the sheep festival and we have the horse festival, both of which I'm looking forward to, because I'm looking forward to hopefully winning some more useful and exciting wonderfuls. So those are kind of the things I got going on, and hopefully between now and the sheep festival, I've got a few more days. I'll have a few other things to sort of talk about. So I'm just gonna keep playing from here, and hopefully everything all works out for me. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.